Hi, welcome to A Waking Moment. And I'm Danny Palacio, your host. I'm so happy that you're here. Today, I wanted to take a moment because I've been pondering it ever since I decided to create a podcast. Um, and the two words that keep circling my brain and entering my heart are the word courage and the word brave. If you've read any of my descriptions around this podcast, you'll know that I use those words courageously, brave, bravery to talk about living that authentic life. And those two words, those two concepts, those two actions have really come into my life in a very powerful way. I've always lived with integrity and authenticity, but I have never really given myself permission to claim the word brave. And so I'm going to share those definitions. But before I do that, I'd love to share a short story about my life. So I grew up in Minnesota, and when I was 16, my parents moved to New Mexico. And then 2 years later, we moved to Oregon. And that's pretty much where I've been the rest of my adult life until this moment. But in that time period, I moved multiple times. When I went to college, I studied in Japan for a year. I've moved to Peru. I've moved to Mount Shasta. I've moved back to Minnesota. But I always, for some reason, find myself back in Oregon. And so a few years ago, maybe like I said, 5 or 6 years ago, several people started using the word brave for my life. They're like, wow, you were so brave to move to Peru. You were so brave to live in Japan. You were so brave to change jobs after being really secure. You were so courageous and brave to open up your own private practice. And the amount of world travel that I've done on my own solo is pretty long. and and so when these friends and people that I really trusted started using that word to describe me, I was like, I didn't resonate. I was like, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't live that way. So I want to read the definitions of courage and brave. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. Strength in the face of pain or grief. Which is, I mean, think about that. How many times have we, all of us, done something that frightens us? You know the saying, if you have fear, do it anyway. And brave. So here's brave. Brave is ready to face and endure danger or pain. Endure or face unpleasant conditions or behavior without showing fear. And both of those, they're close, right? Like some might say, oh, they're the same, but they're really quite different. Brave is that you are ready, and that I am ready. I have decided. It is my passion. It is my desire. And you move forward because you're so convicted that it is the right thing for you to do next. You can't stop yourself. Courage is to do something that does frighten us. So that saying, fear and do it anyway, that, is pretty accurate actually, right? So I want to suggest that we all are courageous and we all are brave, whether we know it or not. And I have had lovely people in my life bless me with the word brave and courageous, because sometimes in their mind, they couldn't possibly imagine quitting their job, starting a new company, a new business. I never called it a company. It was a healing practice, really. So then, oh man, there were a few times where friends and family were like, Danny, what are you doing? Why are you quitting this job that you love? Why are you moving all your stuff into storage and getting in your car with this guy that you just met and heading out on the road? Like, why would you do that? Honestly, I can't really give you a specific answer because sometimes that blows my mind that I did that. But it was something so deep inside me in my heart, in my awareness, everything, like the signs that you look for, like, am I doing the right thing? They all aligned. It's like the stars aligned, and I had to do it. And for some reason, I had to do it with this guy. And it's taken me a long time to recognize that it was a leap in faith. And that's how I've always seen it. But to other people, it was brave. It was brave to just jump off the cliff and not know where I was going to land. And so here I am today, and I have claimed the word brave. And I do use that word to describe myself. I am brave, and I have a courageous heart. I know what it feels like to be in such a state of fear and still show up and still make decisions. So for you today, I would love to ask you the question to reflect, where have you been brave? Where have you shown courage? Because you have, whether you think so or not. So if you get to that place of resistance, like, oh, I'm not brave, I don't, sit with it and just allow yourself to feel brave. Come back to this definition of ready to face and endure danger or pain. Sometimes we don't ask for it, right? My older brother, he's 4 years older than me, passed away 21 years ago. And I didn't ask for that grief. And I didn't know how to be brave in those moments. I didn't know that I was, but I was not ready. And I was forced into living a life to face and endure the pain of grief, of sadness, of loss. And that takes a tremendous amount of bravery. And so even challenging, horrible, you can put any kind of adjective you want on it, of life circumstances where you didn't choose to go there, but you ended up there. Look for the bravery in that. Look for the times that you totally indulged and opened your heart to the devastating grief or to the devastating sadness. It could be even a loss of relationship. I love, and I love intensely. And so when I end a relationship or someone ends a relationship, I go through a whole process of grief. But then I eventually come back to, but I tried and I showed up and I gave it all I got. And that's bravery. So I'm going to end there, and I wish that you to have a really wonderful day. And I want to thank you for listening and showing up. And I hope that you do take a few moments. And I would love to hear where you have been brave and where you are courageous. And maybe even share, if you're willing to be vulnerable, share where you're challenged, where something in your life just isn't like, oh, not ready. But how can you get ready? What can you give yourself? What can you more it's not what can you, how can you release what holds you back? It's normal to have fear, and it's also normal to let it go. It's normal to have justifications, excuses that slow you down and don't allow you to move forward with the dreams of your life. Totally human. Forgive yourself for that and just move forward, move through. If it doesn't work out, then you get an opportunity to be brave again. And I think that that's a really wonderful thing. So again, thank you so much for joining. And I hope that you continue to listen. There will be lots of different topics on a waking moment. And there will be something called a spark, where I ask you a direct, kind of deep question for you to ponder, for you to sit with. And hopefully it will spark your inner truth. Those will come out in between major episodes. And little videos like this that are less than 10 minutes long will also pop up in social media, on the YouTube channel, in Spotify, just for a moment of connection. Because that is why we were all here. We are not meant to live life alone. So, again, thank you so much. And I look forward to the next opportunity.